Pastoral care is the way in which we care for one another, and just as important, the way that we care for ourselves. Now, historically, there's been a team of people who've done this in the church. And one person would make sure that someone is contacted and looked after, and they'd have a list. But there have been several criticisms of this. One is that it's a burden on those who are looking after those lists to make sure that they contact people regularly and don't miss people off. And there's a lot of guilt that's been felt with that. And also we know that some people like to be contacted more than others, and that's caused challenged. But the other thing that it brings into question is, what does that mean as a family if you're doing it out of obligation rather than doing it out of relationship? So what to do? Well, we do what family do. We speak up when there's difficulty. We speak up when there's challenge and a need. And this is a pattern that we look to follow here. We encourage people to pastorally care for one another, but also pastorally care for themselves. This means being in groups or creating friendships to look out for one another, as well as recognizing that sometimes we need to go to people for help. Your first port of call is to speak to those people that you are in good relationship with, whether group or friendship. They are there to offer support and love. The next stage is that you go to one of these people who've been set aside to listen and to pray and to respond to any needs that there might be. Their contacts are always in the weekly email. As minister, I oversee all of this. But we know that every need, every response, every single situation, one person cannot be there all the time. And it means that in times of illness, of holiday, or when ministers move on, the whole system does not fall down because one person is not there. We also need to take seriously that we have a voice that can speak out when we need help, not just to moan that the church haven't been there or unable to read your mind because something's not been quite right. This is everyone's responsibility. Now, we hope and pray that the church is a place where we can all feel loved and supported, but we all need to play our part in making sure this happens.